it, everyone? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to How's It Cousins, the podcast where we take a look at the unique people of the world and the interesting things they do. We talk about them, we relate to them. Hopefully we help you, our listeners, relate with us, have a good time, and just enjoy yourselves. This week, we wanted to take a look at one of the, we'll say, most influential yet unique personalities of the modern age, who has found himself in a whole bunch of news and pop culture and everything. I am talking about none other than the polarizing Elon Musk.
How's it, Chris? Are you talking about Elon Musk? Yo, I'm down to talk about Elon Musk. Let's do this.
Aloha, Alvin. A few weeks off of talking about Bill Gates, we're talking about another millionaire. But thanks for jumping into the Elon Musk podcast.
Yeah, man. I'm always down to talk to you. It's always fun. Let's do this.
Before we begin, I want to remind everyone we are broadcasting this recording live at twitch.tv/HowsItNetwork. So feel free to jump in our chat, hang out with us, react to what we're talking about, and have a fun time. Follow us on social media at HowsItNetwork on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You will always know when we're going live, when our shows are posting, and all the latest up-to-date news. This show airs later on all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. Check out howsitnetwork.com for the conglomeration, consolidation, whatever you call it, of everything I just said. Alvin, anything you want to plug before we get started?
Yes, my name is Aloha Alvin, and I'm working on a very big project. Please check up on me, and you can check it all out at alohalvin.com.
All right, so Elon Musk is one of the founders or original people behind PayPal. He is most notably known for being the CEO and lead designer of SpaceX and a co-founder, CEO, and product architect of Tesla, among other things. But SpaceX and Tesla are kind of his big deal things, what put him in the news most often, because SpaceX is really the only other thing that makes rockets, besides NASA. And Tesla is probably the most, we'll say, innovative electric car company that exists on the planet today.
Chris, I'm going to agree with all of that. I cannot comment on NASA right now because I don't know. But I know there's a point where it was like NASA said pretty much, we're not doing the space thing anymore, guys. Sorry. To put it mildly, it's extremely expensive and it wasn't, I guess, feasible for them. So in that sense, for me, this is the thing I was totally going to bring up, regardless of whether or not you brought it, because I had to talk about it or at least mention it. I love Elon Musk for that. I feel like there's very, very few people still trying, and he is the man who is at least trying. So thumbs up.
Wait, so the National Aeronautics and Space Administration said that they're not going to do the space thing? I'm pretty sure they have to.
Well, okay. See, now I don't have quotes here, but I remember at some point, the moon was a goal. And then, of course, landed on the moon, all that good stuff. And there was talk at some point of Mars being the next goal, which again makes sense. But that did not come to fruition, as we both know. And one of the main reasons was, yeah, bro, it's expensive, man. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty expensive. So
technically, NASA is an independent agency of the federal government. So they get federal funding for everything they do.
See, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you know more than I do. Have you not heard anything like that from them? I swear I heard that somewhere.
Not that they're... Well, okay. So, like many other federal programs, there are budget cuts, there are reappropriations of money, as opposed to SpaceX, which is a private company and gets funding very differently. So, basically, all of NASA's funding for them to do anything comes from taxpayers. When other priorities in the country take precedence, then NASA will be unable to do certain things. I'm not saying that I don't believe what you're saying. I'm saying that NASA can't get out of the space thing because that's the basis under which they're founded. Now, some of their missions might have slowed down, or they might have to take a step back from certain things because of funding, and that's just the way our country works. Yes. But it's not like NASA can just quit and say, "Nah, fuck it, we're out."
Correct. I don't mean, yo, bro, we're done with all this. My memory says Moon, not a game plan. Mars, not a game plan. That's somewhere I remember hearing that. So maybe still more okay, We live on Oahu, right? The 30-meter telescope. That's a thing. Man, I hope that, that's great. I love all that. But the put humans on Mars plan is not a deal to my knowledge right now.
So I'm looking at a couple articles. I don't know if I can read fast enough in the middle of this, but I can totally get on board with what you're saying. But maybe that's why having a company like SpaceX and to some degree what Richard Branson's Virgin Galaxy, maybe that is important because that way there are other people in the world that are seeking those ambitions out, and it doesn't have to be just from federal funding.
Chris, there's a movie, I don't remember which one it was, but essentially it's like making fun of what we live in. Like, I live in Hawaii, but the movie would say, yo man, 100 years from now, you're going to live in McDonald's Island or Starbucks Island. Because the commentary is that the companies are so big and they have so much money, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they're making social commentary. And one of the things was, do not expect a NASA satellite, expect a Starbucks satellite in 50 years or whatever. The idea being that, again, the companies have the money, not the federal stuff. And I remember thinking, well, that's kind of silly. It's a little offensive. Why would you say that? Why would you dump on the programs we have now? Meanwhile, SpaceX, working extremely hard. So it's like, wow, that was a fascinating point of view from that author.
So the big thing about SpaceX was that Elon Musk's big idea was to save what they call initial fuel generator, the device that first gives the rocket its ability to propel from Earth, is the most expensive part of the whole rocket, and it is basically wasted normally with normal rockets. So his big idea was to invent rockets where you could save or reuse parts that would normally just be thrown away because we waste so much money supposedly in that launch process.
There was a Simpsons cartoon where the kids are playing with like a model rocket, and the model rocket lifts off and then whatever does its thing. And then the rival kid, smart kid, has a model rocket that flies and then comes back down, lands gently, barely a sound. And I'm like, it's such a weird visual for a rocket to land itself, especially upright, and safely. But we're living that now, if you don't have to throw it away, why throw it away? So I love it. Never even thought about it really.
And that's the biggest thing. I'll read from the Wikipedia page. SpaceX's big achievement is the first relaunch and landing of a used orbital rocket stage. So that's what I was referring to as the first stage, that first big shot of fire and explosion that launches from a rocket that propels it off of Earth, which is the most fuel consumption, we'll say. So they were actually able to do that, and that is the big innovation to where NASA and all the previous rocket launches, even in other countries of decades past, have never been able to do that.
I feel like, so my knowledge of history blows. I'm sure you have more to say than this, but I feel like for the most part, it's us and like Russia. I'm not even familiar with other people even trying. Do you know? Like other countries?
I'm not familiar with other countries trying to get into space as much as us and Russia.
Okay. I figured as much, but okay, cool. So yeah, like, I guess if you were to push this statement out of control, it would sound crazy. But in my head, Elon Musk, it's like Batman. Elon Musk is Batman. Again, it sounds weird, but it's like, okay, name somebody with a ton of money. Cool, that guy's doing good. Good for him. Or that woman's doing good. Now, how many of them are using their money the way Elon Musk does? I think prior to him shooting off the rocket and landing it, he got a lot of crap. Like SpaceX, what, you stupid? Why are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, I consider him a hero because it's so rare. I know what he does. It's outside the box. But a lot of what he does, I agree with. Even if not everything is a smashing success all the time, still love it.
So it's funny you use the term, he's Batman, because I am looking at an article from The Guardian titled Elon Musk, the real life Iron Man.
Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man's good too. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, it talks about how Robert Downey Jr. turned to Elon Musk for help getting into the character of Tony Stark. Like a lot of Elon Musk was an inspiration for the Tony Stark character in the original Iron Man film.
Interesting. Funny
enough, did you know, and this kind of continues that saga, Elon Musk made a cameo in Iron Man 2.
Did I know that? Oh, no. Well, I was told that. I think at the time I didn't realize. Did you know that at the time? Like, were you in the theater and saying, "Hey"? Because I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good for you. Nice.
They're totally like, hey, Mr. Musk. Like, he plays himself.
Oh, geez. Man, I totally missed it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Take it from me, here on this show, Elon Musk is Marvel canon.
That's weird and awesome.
He exists in the MCU. Real character, as proven. Iron Man 2. Go rewatch it. It's in the very beginning of the movie. Check it out.
This must be when Hammer and the F1 racing happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
makes
first
sense. That makes
thing
sense.
when Tony arrives and, he walks in and before he gets to Justin Hammer, he's like, hey, Mr. Musk. Hi. It's a very short scene. But they totally refer to him as Mr. Musk and it's actually him.
Wicked. That's cool. I do not surf. Okay, actually, do you surf? Like, are you a surfer?
I have before, but I wouldn't consider myself a surfer.
Okay, fair enough. How much would you pay for a quote-unquote top-of-the-line surfboard? Is that a number you know?
No. I don't do enough to say that I would know how much I would pay.
Okay, so I don't know how much a good board is, but apparently Tesla was selling surfboards. Did you know about that one?
No.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I'm totally serious. Yeah, it was, I believe it was 1,500 for the surfboard. It's sleek. It looks nice. As a guy who does not surf, I can say it looks nice. On top of that, people apparently were buying them and reselling them for like $5,000 a piece. So in and of itself, part of me is like, wait, is this a joke? Why is there surfboards, The other part of me is like, dude, that's badass. That's how you raise money, man. I forgot how many he had, but totally sold out. I remember I heard about it one day and I think literally the next day, gone. So whatever money he wanted to raise, instantly raised. I love that. I love that about it. So outside the box. Okay, I'm assuming you're digging it up. Comments?
I am, but it's all good. Kuroy in the chat. That's right. Thanks for dropping the Iron Man 2 clip. So anyone in the chat, you can see what I was referring to.
Good man. Thank you, Kuroy.
So Tesla surfboard, I am pulling it up and it looks like it's just a fucking surfboard. Like, it's just branded merch.
I assume it was sleek and good in the water.
No. It is.
Oh, okay.
It is. It looks pretty cool, but it's not like electric or anything like that.
Oh, okay. That's a fair point.
There's no innovation in it. It's just swag. It's a different kind of swag. So that's kind of cool to think about because you would make swag that is branded or that would attract your customer base or something your customers would appreciate. Is there some type of market research to suggest that people who own Teslas also like surfboards?
I don't know the answer to that. I hope so. So yeah.
Do they live in California? Are they surfers? Is it assumed that someone who can afford to buy a Tesla could also afford to buy a sleek $1,500 surfboard? Because that's cool.
Hold up now. So you had a fair point. To my knowledge, it is not super crazy tech or anything. It might just be a sticker on a surfboard. I think it's a bit more, but I don't know. So I'll move on to the next thing because this one also blew my mind. This made the news. Did you know Tesla was selling flamethrowers?
That's a thing. So
yeah, that was a
short
thing.
answer is yes, but I don't know all the details behind it. Did you dig up some stuff?
Well, I mean, I only knew it from what I saw. So first thing is, I think it was $500 a piece. And then I looked this up. It was like 20,000 units. So was that like 10 mil? Some serious money. I don't know if he sold out overnight, but I know because I looked that up, those did sell out. People heard about it and they're like, yo, I want to buy that. And again, outside the box, to put it mildly, like, I don't know any CEO who says, hey, you guys want to buy a flamethrower? But hey, he's raising the money and it helped him, which is awesome.
The article I quickly Googled says Tesla sells $10 million in flamethrowers in 4 days.
4 days. That's that's cool. The other thing, I don't know if it was me asking my friends who theorized or if it was on the news. Okay, flamethrower. Kind of crazy. Like legit. When I hear flamethrower, I think of either Aliens, where the main character is shooting flames with the alien, or I think of StarCraft. Both of which they're being used as weapons. So anyway, I remember talking to someone about this, and I think the consensus we came to was not a weapon. You can actually get one of those, like shipping and stuff, like it's no big deal, which is crazy when I think about it. But then again, you can buy a torch, right? You can buy all kinds of chainsaw, which people use to kill other people, or you can use it to chop a tree down. So I'm like, interesting, just trippy. Like, what did you buy for Christmas? Flamethrower.
You're saying you don't have to register your flamethrower with the NRA or a license, like a gun or something?
I don't believe so. But yeah, it's trippy. On that note, and this is crazy given the nature of what a flamethrower is, In a way, it's a little bit safer because it's made by Tesla people. I have heard of homemade flamethrowers, which, man, just don't. Oh my God.
That sounds fucking horrible.
That sounds ridiculously dangerous. Just don't. Yeah. So again, Elon Musk, outside the box. Loving it.
The article from Reuters, which is what I was reading from for the flamethrowers, Elon Musk tweeted, when the zombie apocalypse happens, you'll be glad you bought a flamethrower. Works against hordes of the undead or your money back.
See, the video of that too is like, yo, did that CEO just joke about zombies? No. Oh man, I'm down, man. That's great. I love it.
Apparently these flamethrowers are $500 a piece.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how much a normal flamethrower costs, although the quick Google search that I just pulled up shows a flamethrower for $285.
Oh, wow. That's surprising for me, actually, but okay.
But, I mean, this is like a Tesla flamethrower. I'm looking at a picture of it. It looks like a rifle almost.
Yeah, it looks pretty menacing, actually. Yeah.
And apparently, he sold it to make money to create the Boring Company, which is that company that's making the super tunnel.
Yes.
So that was the idea, was to kickstart the Boring Company.
Again, like, I'm sure there's other ways to raise money, but man, that just puts a smile on my face. And I'm sure those owners of those flamethrowers are like, hey, thanks.
So it's funny you bring up the swag and the merch. It brings up a good point about how our society reacts to things these days when you have things like brand loyalty or a following of a belief. Because Elon Musk has a very polarizing vision in many ways. Many will say that he's kind of crazy, but in a forward-thinking way. But if you identify with that, you follow those kind of people to the ends of the earth almost. He's almost like, I don't want to say a religious figure because that's not true, but in the same light of that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, totally.
So people will spend $500 on a flamethrower or $1,500 on a surfboard just because it's got his mark on it.
See,
it's not unlike other influencers these days. When they sell shit, people will buy. And this is just another example of it that happened a few years earlier than what's happening today.
So on that note, and I of course do not know Elon Musk, but I do know random old ladies, and what I mean by that is I've had people say to me, hey, do you want to buy chili coupons? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Do you want to buy cookies? I don't really eat cookies. Oh, it's for my little kid going to whatever camp. Oh, okay, cool. I'll buy some. Like once I know the cause, I'm down to support the cause. Mm-hmm. And in that same sense, like, I don't plan on setting anything on fire. I mean, it'd be cool to own. But if I'm supporting Elon Musk, I'm a little more interested. Like, that's pretty cool.
Wait, did you buy a fucking flamethrower?
No, I did not. When I heard about it, it was done. It was totally done already. Yeah, but that's, again, still cool. Just still cool.
So, I got a question for you.
Okay, go.
Do you know anyone that owns a Tesla?
Ooh, no. I know numerous people who want to own. Maybe you're going to say yes to that question.
No, so I do.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And everyone I know that owns one really loves one.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They are in love with that car. And I mean, for good reason. It's very innovative. We live in Hawaii, so it's not like charging is a big deal because you're never going to drive that far anyway.
True. Very true.
That being said, I will admit to the chat and to the internet that I also own an electric vehicle, not a Tesla.
Okay.
And for the usage here, I can't imagine that it's that much different in terms of the practicality of it. However, you can't deny Tesla is just sexy. It's a cool ass car. Haha, you see what I did there?
Nice.
You know the models, right?
No, I don't know that.
Okay, so the 4 models of Tesla, the Model S was the first one. That's kind of the Roadster was the first one. Then the Model S, which is like the sports car type, first one that came out. The Model X was the kind of SUV looking one with the DeLorean doors. That was the second one. The Model 3 is the most recent one that people are getting, and I'm starting to see them here. That's the smaller car that is more affordable. It started at like $35,000, but most of them cost more than that because you buy the upgraded packaging and shit.
Sure.
And they're coming out with the crossover, the Model Y.
Interesting. Oh,
and apparently those models were planned in advance, SX3Y.
Nice.
Because Tesla's sexy.
Nice. Okay.
And that's a thing. It's a thing. That's what they wanted.
All right, Chris. Are you familiar with something called conspicuous consumption?
conspicuous consumption. When you say it like that, no. But
Okay.
if you start talking, I
I
might
guarantee you will.
understand it.
But
Sure.
so it's like this, okay? So say you meet some guy, you're like, hey, okay, nice to meet you, whatever. Oh, you work over there? Cool, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Nice to meet you. Now that's how it works these days, okay? In the old days, if someone said, hey, my name is Alvin Smith. Whoa, Smith. Is your dad John Smith? Yeah, my dad's John Smith. Oh my God, you're part of the Smith family? Your name alone, just your name will tell people what you do. So in this case, we're Smith Shoemakers of Honolulu. Damn, man, everybody wears your shoes. You guys are rich. Instantly, you know. Versus, yeah, okay. So we don't have that anymore. Not really. So now what do? Well, I wear Rolex.
Let's think about that. Is that... It must exist somewhere.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, if you're a Kennedy or an Obama, I think you're doing all right.
Okay,
I'm just saying, but like compared to the past, it was a little bit more name alone. So now it's like, hold on, let me put on my Gucci suit.
What if you're a Kardashian?
Ooh.
Okay, ooh, that's still shit. Let me tell you. Okay, sorry. Anyway, sorry.
No, I mean, okay, that's a fair point. Well, see, on that note, I guess because we're more global and international, you know, like we'll hear more names like that. But in the old days, if I lived in my village, that's about it. You know, like I walk to the store or whatever, walk to the market and come back home. That's my whole deal, really. I work the farm or whatever I do as a surf. The idea, at least, is now you don't have to ask me my name, man. Look at my Rolex watch. Look at my Gucci suit. Okay, you know how rich I am. But that's not true at all. I could be a dumbass going broke, buying this crap I cannot afford. And it's like, hey, look how rich I am. And of course, people will be like, wow, that guy must be rich given the crap that he's wearing, which is not accurate at all. So anyway, what I'm getting at is Tesla. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure many rich people who actually have money can afford it also have it. That's cool. But I'm also sure there's people who cannot afford it who also have it. But either way, like you said, that image, totally agree. It's a damn nice car. I'm not even a car guy. And even I'm like, yeah, it's a nice damn car, man. It's really nice.
See, I'm not a car guy either. And I think it's really cool. But that's why I didn't buy it. Because
interesting.
Me personally, it doesn't appeal. Like, I don't need like the really super nice car because I don't drive that much.
I get you.
We live on a fucking island. I need to get from point A to point B, and it takes me 30 minutes no matter where it is and how far away it is. It's just the way it is here.
I get you.
Just because of traffic and shit, right?
No, totally.
So
very
yeah,
practical.
yeah. But I can see to where people would like it. I mean, if you're a car person,
since we're talking about cars, the Tesla. One of the things that many companies are trying to do is the self-driving car. So first question to you is, would you get in one of those?
I'm very skeptical.
Okay.
I mean, I've been in an accident before in my life. So, I mean, nothing like super major, like no one got injured or anything, but I've been in a decent enough accident. So I would say that would I get in it? Yes. If and only if there was some type of manual override, which I'm pretty sure there is in these cars.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. Having said that, and I don't know if this was Tesla, because it could have been any company. There was some company where they had self-driving cars, then there's a dude behind the wheel, which is good, just in case, right? Well, that dude either fell asleep or was playing video games. It's one or the other. And I think something went south on them. Having said that, I don't blame the car maker. You know, that dude was falling asleep. But anyway, for me, I feel similarly. I'm skeptical on a lot of things. I'm always down to be second place in that sense. Don't get me wrong, when Overwatch beta was available, I jumped all up in it. It was fun. But for stuff like, I don't know, driving really fast or being moved across country or over an ocean really fast, I can let someone else be the guinea pig. I don't need to be on the maiden voyage, you know? Yeah, so having said that, as a guy who totally has that point of view, imagine a college campus, so very restricted. I don't know how big, maybe the size of UH, but a college campus somewhere, they have self-driving vehicles, which sounds a little crazy. However, I saw what it was on the news, and essentially, it's like a platform that moves. That's it. I think it goes 5 miles an hour at most, you know, or maybe 10. So it's like, you know, normal speed, quote unquote, for like humans. It's not ridiculous. You're not doing 100 miles per hour. The thing I like about that is, one, it still helps the average person. You can sit on it or whatever on it, you know, stand on it, relax. It'll take you where you got to go. On top of that, if it slams into you or more accurately bumps into you, hopefully it won't be fatal, at least. Probably still hurts. But like that, I can totally get behind. And I am bummed that that's not more of a goal. I feel like everyone's striving super hard to get us into Minority Report, and we don't need to quite get there yet.
So you're talking about like a self-driving car that would drive you from one end of a campus to another?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Like it
That
could
sounds
always,
cool.
yeah, see, it would always be running in theory, right? If it was like solar or whatever, it would be very helpful. You can just get on it at your leisure. Oh, and it's so slow. Just hop off or whatever. Maybe there's a button to press. But yeah,
Sure.
everything about it, I'm like, man, that's awesome. Cause for me, the equivalent is at the airport. Let's say I'm walking normally and then you are walking same speed, but somehow getting ahead of me. Well, that's because you're walking on the, I'll say
People
flat
mover.
escalator. Is that what it's called? People mover? Okay, yeah.
That's what I've heard it called.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, it's so simple. Okay, let's be real here. I'm sure someone somewhere got injured on that thing. Oh my God. Anyway, but like, it's so simple.
Possible.
And yeah, I would love more of those. And I think a self-driving, I'll just say platform in this case, could be the answer.
So like an outdoor self-driving platform. I guess the car would be the perfect vehicle in current state just because you're shielded from the elements for that in that pod basically, right? Without having to create a new infrastructure for it.
Correct. So that's pretty awesome.
Do you know if the example you're talking about was a Tesla?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. It was on the news. The reporter was like, well, let me stand in front of it then. And of course, it was intelligent enough not to hit him. It was safe in that way too. I do not remember for the test. It might have been. It might have been.
So the car that hit someone, are you referring to the Uber self-driving car?
Oh,
Because there was
maybe.
that big thing. It was in Arizona to where the self-driving car hit someone. It was like super dark, and I guess it didn't recognize that someone was walking out into the middle of the street. Very bad circumstances.
Correct. Chris, I'm going to throw this down for you. Okay. So I don't remember who this was. I doubt it was Elon. It's probably someone else. So anyway, some guy was saying, you know what, man? If you gave me the setup, I can guarantee you cars that will never ever crash into anything. Then, dot, dot, dot. The problem is not the cars and the problem is not the driving habits. The problem is the pedestrian. I'm like, interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting point. So what he was saying was, yo, if you give me cars and only cars, I can make you a system right now runs flawlessly. I'm like, interesting, right? Like, think about it this way too, okay? So like, you're driving from A to B, you see a car. Well, the car has lights. You know, in theory, at least, the car has lights that work so you can see those things. I remember hearing somewhere with the AI controlled cars, there's like, it's like this, okay? So say I'm at the south part of the intersection and you're at the east. I don't see you. But if we were cars, it'd be like this. Okay, I'm turning over here. I'm turning over here. And then you would respond, quote unquote, other car. I see you over there. Like radio waves or whatever they use. So they're constantly communicating. Once again, car to car, they can do that. Human to car, unless you inject everyone with chips, you know, like that's just not going to work. That guy said something very fascinating that I really liked. So imagine a street, okay? So a street, you're driving on the street, no big deal. But on the side of the street, well, that's a sidewalk. That's meant for humans to walk on. So once again, his point was, damn, pedestrians are dangerous for what we do. So he was saying, what if everywhere had I guess a sky lift, whatever it's called? Those high bridges. What if humans were elevated over cars? That way you never make contact and boom, much safer. Now I'm like, once again, fascinating.
Good idea, but infrastructure-wise, that wouldn't work, right?
Well, I mean, it is a monster, but then like instantly, less death, less traffic because the cars would be, yeah, you wouldn't have, in theory, you wouldn't have to worry about accidents again, in theory, but I'm like,
Theory.
that's pretty cool. I mean, okay, how about this though? So for me, and this is for anyone who ever travels to Oahu as well as just to Chris, what I consider easily one of our most dangerous intersections is the one by Keomoku Walmart. It's silly. The Walmart, for whatever reason, they just turn into bad drivers near that Walmart. And there's an intersection over there that I fear for my life on foot or in a car. It doesn't matter. People just run the red lights, people jaywalk. It's just ridiculous.
Is that the one that turns into the parking lot, or is that the one that by the Walgreens?
Closer to the Walgreens. Although the
Closer to
parking
the
lot one's
Walgreens,
not so
okay.
hot either. But yes, especially the one at Kapilani, that stuff is rough. So anyway, the reason why I mentioned that is, you know what? Skylift or whatever for every single intersection, too much. What if we chose those spots? Like, I would legit vote yes if a congressman or something asked me, senator asked me, how do you feel about this intersection? I'm like, that is a straight up dangerous intersection. Yes. Put some money into it. Do something.
Are you talking about the one on Kapiolani?
Yes. Well, both. It's that one.
Oh,
as
the
well
two
as
of
the
them.
One, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's one by, I'm going to say the hot pot place. It's closed there now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just terrible, man. Like,
Oh yeah, death.
when I drive all the way around to avoid both of those things. And if I walk, I'm always extra vigilant. So dangerous.
I agree. That's a pretty bad one.
It's pretty bad.
I don't even know how many of those overpass bridges we have here, except the ones that go over the freeway. Like, there are very few here.
Correct. On the mainland, I believe they're a little bit more common. I want to say
They are very much more common.
Okay, yeah. See?
There was, when I was in college, there was one from the main road that was next to the university I went to. There was one right there because it was like a 6-lane road or whatever that
Yes.
just because there would be so much walking traffic, someone built I don't know when, but they built a sky bridge there.
In the same sense that I'm clearly signaling Walmart or signaling out Walmart, not because Walmart is bad, just for whatever reason, the human beings, normal people like me and you, for whatever reason, near Walmart get bad. That is absolutely a high traffic area. Even in that sense, so like, okay, so UH or whatever, every Walmart, Costco's, I don't know, just busy ass places. I would support that. Keep people a little bit safer. That's pretty good.
Before we continue, I want to let you all know that today's episode of How's It Cousins is being brought to you in part by Team Me Brand. They are a lifestyle brand based out of Hawaii, where we are both from, that does streetwear, artwork, and culture showpieces like their most recent interview series with local hip-hop artists, not only from Hawaii, but also scattered around the continental U.S. These hashtag United individuals are building out their custom art merch and would love to have you share their designs. All items are produced in limited quantities, I will remind you. Full disclosure, I am not affiliated with the company, but have done work with them in the past, and I'm actually working on something for them right now. But they like to make sure that I look good on stream. So if you are interested in the shirt, the hat, or anything that I'm wearing while on Twitch, just hit me up with a DM, a whisper, and check out Team Me Brand on all the social media outlets. That's TEAMMEBRAND, Twitter, Instagram, Team Me Brand, and hit up their hashtag Keep Moving Forward. Sorry, little pause for the ad read.
It's all good.
Alvin.
Yo.
Have you heard of Musk Watch?
Whoa. No. What does that mean? What is that?
So, on the Nerdist YouTube channel. So for those that don't know, Nerdist is a website / YouTube / they do a lot of geek culture showpieces, and two of their personalities, Kyle Hill and Dan Casey, in 2018 produced a series, I think it was weekly, called Musk Watch. And it is a weekly YouTube video. Each episode is about maybe 6 or 7 minutes, where they talk about the latest Elon Musk news.
Fascinating. Okay, sure. Why not? Sure.
So this channel, it's a pretty popular YouTube channel. 2.6 million subscribers as of today. Now, granted, a year ago, maybe not as much, but still, a big brand. They've been doing videos. They've been doing coverage of various things for a long time, but they decided to do Musk Watch. And it's not still going on, I think, but it was on for a good amount of time. So I will read you some of the awesome titles of Musk Watch. So, Musk Watch, the Kingdom of Asgardia wants to protect Earth. I don't know what that means. Musk Watch, can Elon Musk teleport batteries?
Interesting.
Is Elon Musk spying on the US? Why is Elon Musk building Skynet?
Oh.
How Elon Musk and SpaceX are going to get you drunk on Mars? So anyway, I thought it was super cool. The point of this is Elon Musk is not your typical tech entrepreneur CEO.
Yes.
He's not like Bill Gates, who we discussed in a previous episode.
Yes.
He's not even like Steve Jobs of Apple. He's just not like them. Now, Jobs is actually closer to him, if I must say.
Okay.
He is no Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He's not your standard billionaire dude. He's fucking weird. And he's crazy and he's out there. And I will point out, and not to be discriminatory, I'm not trying to be, but he's young, relatively.
Sure, I get that.
So as of today, he's 47, according to Wikipedia's article, which means that in the heyday and founding of companies like Tesla and SpaceX, he was in his late 30s, early 40s.
Interesting. That's cool.
I think that makes him relatable to the, I guess, people of our generation, because he puts himself out there and does crazy shit on Twitter and says a whole bunch of really polarizing things. He draws that kind of media attention, whether for good or bad.
Okay, so I thought about this as well. I hear the company Tesla, my brain immediately thinks of Elon Musk. Boom, 1-to-1 ratio, whatever, just totally connected. The second person that comes to mind is crickets. I can't name a second person. We talked about the engine before, where it's like an intentionally crafted public image. In this case, I know he knows he's in the spotlight. That must be part of his deal. Just like that zombie apocalypse comment. I love that. It speaks directly to me. I love that. And I find it fascinating because, like you said, compared to some others, can you name the eBay people? Only recently could I even begin to guess. Do you know their names? Okay, yeah, see? Nope. I didn't either. The founders of eBay, I think it's like Omidyar or something. I might be butchering the name. I don't remember already, but it doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is eBay, huge, or at least it was huge. I don't really use it now, but it was definitely a huge thing.
Oh, it's still fucking huge.
Okay, cool. See, it's just not in my world. I'm all away from there now. Anyway, those people, super rich, but I don't hear about them. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, hear him all the time. And I like that, actually. There's definitely some names in the news I don't need to hear every day. But I like hearing about Elon Musk. And I do wonder, like how that works for him plan-wise. Like, would he recommend that to someone else? Be more vocal?
I actually wonder, and I'm almost willing to bet that that's all part of it.
Sure.
Or at least it just works so conveniently that at some point you're just like, fuck it. Like, yeah, I am that popular and I don't really care. And it's just working out well for everything that I'm doing for the most part. However, there are also bad consequences of it, right?
Sure.
That time when Elon Musk was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he was smoking the cigarette laced with weed, apparently, as a result, some of the, I think it was Tesla or SpaceX stock tanked a little bit after that.
I believe that.
Investors didn't take too kindly to him smoking weed on air, on the internet.
To clarify, did he know?
What?
It was not a normal cigarette?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Just check.
100%. He asked Rogan, and Rogan's like, hey, this is weed. And he's like, it's legal, right? He's like, yep, all right, let's do it.
Interesting. So here's the thing, all right? Let's just say there was no Elon Musk, but, my neighbor Elon, he's a cool guy. We talk a lot. And my neighbor Elon wants us to, like, do a spaceship at some point. Whatever. Cool. I like that mentality. I like what he does in general. Good man. Boom. I support him. Now, the flip side of that is he is not my neighbor Elon. He is Elon Musk. He's a huge person in that way, and he does great things. Now, what I'm getting at is there was a time when I think it was the Model 3. I don't remember which one it was. Doesn't matter. But they were having problems selling. Or like maybe the shipment was later than expected. Of course, people are crapping all over him. Now, in this case, the reporter was like, okay, let's talk. Why don't you tell me what's up and I'll report the news. And one of the questions she asked was, wait, what time do you go home? Or something like that. And then he goes, oh, I don't go home. And she's like, what do you mean you don't go home? Like, oh, I sleep right there. And it was like a couch in his office. And the reporter, I'm pretty sure was like, I can't tell if he's kidding. So then later on, the reporter asked other people like, yo, does he sleep in his office? And the commentary was, once the stock wasn't doing well, he doubled down. He's here all the time working extra hard. I'm like, damn, I love that. That's awesome. Not just the fun stuff, zombie apocalypse commentary, also the hard worker.
I'm torn on that aspect of it.
Okay.
Because we talk about hard work and people that put in the effort to do things, and that's admirable to some degree, but I'm not sure about the whole sleep in my office all night. It almost kind of suggests like a no balance type thing too. It's polarizing on both ends of the spectrum if you think about it, because it's not to say someone couldn't only do that a little bit and it's just exaggerated in one way or another. I do understand what you're saying, though, in that someone who has the vision and the drive, it's great to cheer for them and see them rewarded for such effort.
Chris, are you familiar with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
I am. Okay. Stephen Covey, very popular book.
Love it. Do you know the 7th habit?
I don't remember exactly
that's okay.
What it is.
No problem. It's sharpen the saw. So the quote or the question posed to, I believe it was Abraham Lincoln. Someone was like, yo, Lincoln, if you had like 8 hours to chop a tree down, what would you do? And then he said, I would spend 7 hours sharpening my saw. There's the planning part to it and etc. And the key takeaway for most people is you got to rest. Resting makes you more efficient in a lot of ways. So in that sense, I do not advocate people sleeping in their office. If you need a nap, hit the nap, fine. But, getting away and breathing fresh air is always good for you. Having said that, I do admire someone who is willing to double down. I know way too many people who do not. I know way too many people who would say, I don't care, screw this project. And then they would dump on it. Actually, that's not accurate. It's way worse than that. I know people who are way worse than that. So I commend people who work over and over and keep trying. And I feel that from him. When the car battery fire thing was a thing, he was working on it, or I believed he was working on it. I didn't live with him or anything, but like he cared about it. This is like the Tylenol thing. When there was that bad person who was like poisoning the medicine, Tylenol was like, you know what? We'll take all the Tylenol back. We'll give you guys new batches. We'll keep everybody safe. They sank money on that. It was a sad thing, but played correctly, we now trust them. Tylenol is a brand that's still around. Like their competitors, I don't even know them. So in that same sense, Tesla having a hard time, Elon Musk having a hard time, I still root for him. Still.
I think another reason why it's so easy to jump on the side of someone like that, at least in this case, is because it's fucking everywhere, dude.
True. That is true.
I watched a video in preparation for this show, and it is the top 5 Elon Musk cameos.
Fascinating.
2 of which are incredibly fascinating in that, did you know that Elon Musk was in The Simpsons?
I did not know that. I believe it, though. What was he doing? I assume he was actually Musk.
Well, yeah, he was himself, of course,
okay, yeah,
right?
Okay, yeah.
Visit Springfield. Oh, you guys have nuclear power. You could do it better this way. So he played his own character in The Simpsons and also in South Park. Apparently, he was on multiple episodes of South Park in an arc to where I guess the world's going to shit and Cartman and the crew want to find a way off the planet. So, of course, they go see Elon Musk.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of the point to where when you have someone in a niche industry, but yet they transcend industries, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, I know that guy. And name recognition is a huge thing. True. For example, I will always remember that Barack Obama was in a Spider-Man comic.
Yeah, totally.
Because that's fucking cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
And after,
cool.
in 2016, that's the one thing I said. It was like, you know what? Like, whoever the hell wins after that, like, I don't think we'll ever have a fucking cool president again like that.
Interesting.
Not for a while.
Yeah, I get you. Everything you just said, I have asked myself this question before. So let's say I was running for president, right? Time to kiss some babies, time to talk to the unions, there's a game plan. There's a clear playbook that exists. They all do it, which makes sense because that's how you win and we care about those things. It makes sense. My question to you is, like 1,000 years ago or whatever, how many years ago, say I wanted to be king or president, would it matter if I was kissing babies? I feel like the ball game has changed towards that kind of behavior. In that same sense, okay, like this. It should not matter how ugly or beautiful one of our leaders is. And I don't just mean like politically, but like anything in a club, it shouldn't matter. But dude, it totally matters. I think it was JFK and I forgot who the other guy was. It's terrible. I don't remember, but they were having a debate. And prior to that, there weren't too many televised debates. So you kind of just listened to it, or maybe if you were there, you could form your own opinion. It wasn't on TV. So that was like the first one on TV. Now, people in the room were like, the other guy won. He absolutely won. The other guy won. But people on TV were like, nah, man, Kennedy beat him. The image matters. And in that sense, I'm not going to even pretend. I've already said, I like Elon Musk, the image. I like what he represents. I like what he says, so that is an interesting thing when I think about it.
I'm totally with you in that the message matters and the recognition matters.
Right.
So to respond to your question, a number of years ago, would you have to be kissing babies and whatever? Absolutely. 100%, because that's what people did, right? That's how you associated with the everyman. Nowadays, no one gives a shit about that. So no, of course not. So that's why people that can adapt win.
Oh yeah, totally. Like whoever is our future president will involve Twitter. Maybe not Twitter itself, maybe there'll be a new Twitter or whatever, but some guy who can get online and do those things. Like you can't be not internet savvy anymore. You can't be bad at computers in that way. Or at the minimum, you need a crew who can like hook you up online. So yeah.
100%.
Totally.
We did a previous episode on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? And her main thing from her beginning of her political run was, hey, I started on Twitter and I just started with one tweet. And then I did another, and then I did another. The one thing I knew I could do was write at least half decently. So that was my method of communication. And the following just grew and grew and grew. And then the mammoth that was her social media campaign is what actually I think won her election.
Totally. Whatever it is that Obama did, I believe all future presidents will take note. You know, the yes we can, the Facebook thing, all that stuff, the campaign, the media campaign, stuff like that.
Not to sound too controversial, but whatever the fuck Trump did, people will probably do too.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Right?
Actually,
it worked.
On that note, we have many Democratic people fighting it out right now. The last time we saw a group of people fighting it out, the craziest one won. The meanest, loudest one won. So we'll see how this plays out.
We'll bring it back to Elon Musk. He's the same way. Right? His social media, his Twitter is crazy. And that's why people can get an insight to what he's thinking, what he's doing, and also why he's so weird. It's funny to think that that's the platform which we express ourselves in, which we connect to these supposedly untouchable beings nowadays.
This is not quite the same thing because I'm going to talk about Overwatch. But anyway, there's a streamer that I watch. She is quite good at playing this one character. So anyway, she was doing something in a stream and I remember thinking, oh, that's not how I do it. So I type in, when this happens, I tend to look away instead of releasing the button because the response is faster. And I don't expect anything to come from that. You know, people just say stuff and sometimes you get a response, sometimes you don't. But then that streamer person actually responded, hey, thanks. I'm like, holy shit. That was amazing. That was such a weird moment. You know, like if I saw something in the first thing that comes to mind is a BMX tournament. If I saw a BMX rider do cool things and I sent him or her a fan letter, I don't expect a response. But in Twitter, who knows? YouTube, who knows? The connection in that way is so much closer. It's weird to me how close it is sometimes.
And that's the power of these platforms. We said it on multiple shows in the past. Twitch, Twitter, they give you up to the minute interaction with people you normally would not interact with.
True.
Just like how we're doing now. People jump in our chat, we interact with them on this live show. Now, granted, we're not as big as all kinds of other shows, but the same holds true.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
For someone who is uninitiated, if you jump in our chat and you say something we respond to it, technically you are now memorialized on iTunes and YouTube to some degree.
Very true. Yeah, very true.
And the same is true of all these quote-unquote famous people. You jump into someone's Twitch, Twitter, and now you're a part of it. And granted, yes, in that respect, maybe it's just text and maybe it's informal, but still you're making that connection from the platform down to the user. It feels special in some way.
Totally. Yeah. Elon Musk, I just straight up, I like him. I like the effort that he puts forward. I like the ambitious nature. I like trying to go to space, all that good stuff, or having done all that is quite huge. You know, I like outside the box fundraising. That is still so cool. The flamethrower thing still blows my mind. It's weird, but when I think about it, like, he is the Elon Musk-iest person I know. Like, who else is being compared to Iron Man? I'm sure there's others, but I don't know them. In so many ways, I get behind him.
I agree in that it's refreshing to see someone who kind of puts themselves out there, who's doing different things and pushing society to strive forward and innovate and think outside the box and really challenge itself to what we can do and bringing that idea to the mainstream. Because whether on purpose or not, his ideals and his forward thinking come forefront in the character he portrays. And because he transcends different media types and different industries, it all comes full circle. And it's another way to which even the quote unquote normal person can be informed of all these crazy things that are going on in the tech industry. And that's what I think is really cool about it.
Yes, totally agree.
All right, we want to thank everyone for joining us on this week's episode of the podcast, where we got to do our deep dive onto the very unique traits, qualities, whatever you want to call them, of Elon Musk. If you like what you're listening to, this episode will air on all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, among other places. If you just Google it, you'll find it. We broadcast the live recording at twitch.tv/HowIsItNetwork. So if you want to jump into our chat and interact, we would love to have you, and you can be a part of the show. Follow us on social media at How's It Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so you can keep up with all the latest news. And while you're at it, go check out howsitnetwork.com to see the collection of everything that we're doing.
And if you like that Alvin goodness, I'm working on a very big project. Please check back and check again on my website. It's at alohalvin.com. I write like how I speak, and if you enjoyed me today, I'm sure you enjoyed the site.
And if you want to see more from me, I'm at How's It Chris on Twitter. I like to post the latest meme of the day or just react to what's going on the internet. So check it out if you are so inclined. We want to thank you for lending us your beautiful ears. And just remember, it is not goodbye. We shall see you later.